Mangione, of course, accused of killing the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson, in December 2024. Pleased to have civil rights and criminal defense attorney David Schoen with us. He was also President Trump's lead counsel on his second impeachment trial. David, it's great to have you today, sir.
Thanks very much. Great to be here.
All right, so Luigi Mangione has this, sick sort of fan base, no trial date. This isn't expected to be settled today, but I think to boil it down is these are the charges the defense wants dropped. I was watching and reading a lot of this. It's this stalking element that allows them to charge him to get the death penalty instead of a state to a federal. So this is a really big deal if the defense can win this, no?
Yeah, I mean, as you point out, you have to have an interstate commerce element to a crime to make it a federal crime. Otherwise, many states have the death penalty. As you know, I'm sure, the New York State Court threw out his death-eligible charges in the state proceeding, parallel state proceeding that's going on, because it charged committing death in connection with terrorism, and they found that the terrorism element was missing. So today's argument, there are a couple of issues to be argued today. One is the alleged disqualification of Pam Bondi from this case based on alleged conflict of interest and statements she made. I don't think that's going to go anyplace. The other argument, look, these are lawyers, fighting as hard as they can on in a death penalty case and a serious high-profile case, and they want to make a good showing, and they are. But the argument for today, the primary argument is essentially, as you pointed out, they want to get counts 3 and count 4 struck down, dismissed from the indictment. And count 3 is the one that's death eligible. It's quite a complicated issue, but put it this way. The charges in this case require the use of a firearm in connection with a crime of violence. And the crime of violence charged is this stalking with the intent to commit murder that's in counts 1 and 2. What the defense argues is when a court analyzes the predicate charge for a crime of violence, they use what they call a categorical approach. I don't want to get too much in the weeds, but essentially what that means is if you look at the statute itself, if there's a possible way that it might not involve a crime of violence, then you might conclude that that statute isn't charged a crime of violence for purposes of the firearm statute. I had a case thrown out on this 2 years ago. They charged a conspiracy to murder, use of a firearm, and they found that
we'll see if they're successful.
Yeah, pardon?
Yeah. We'll see if they're successful. If they do, it's no death penalty, just to put a finer point on it, because I do want to get to another topic.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm too much in the weeds.
So, no, it's because you're brilliant, and that's why we have you here. And it's a fascinating case, not to be decided today. Sidebar story to Maduro. He's a pretty bad guy. He was released in a prisoner swap by the Biden administration. His name is Alex Saab. Now, we had him in custody. He was captured in Cape Verde, and then he's released back in 2023. He was, right hand to Maduro to help launder money, authorities said, to Iran, Hezbollah. So now he is back there. I want to get your reaction to this clip. Marshall Billingsley, who wrote the sanctions on the Maduro regime and also was very heavily involved in Alex Saab's capture, had this to say about what the current DOJ can do, because the belief is he's back with Delcy Rodriguez up to his old crime syndicate.
Alex Saab was laundering money for the dictator and his wife. He knows where the money is. It was a reckless, completely irresponsible decision by the Biden administration to not only release him in a prisoner swap, but they gave him a full pardon. Now, Bianca, here's the kicker, though. That pardon stipulates that he can't go back to criminal activity, which he has since he was released. So the Justice Department should revoke his pardon, should reinstate the criminal charges against him. He's wanted for $350 million of theft, and they should go after him, because when we get him, we get Maduro's bank accounts.
What do you think of that argument there as we look at a very delicate transition out with Delcy Rodriguez and some thugs around her, David, and potentially Saab in the mix?
I think as a matter of law and what we might understand to be good policy, it makes absolute perfect sense. But I have to say this. It's clear that President Trump has a strategy in mind. He decided not to have, it was decided not to have Machado come in place. They're keeping Rodriguez in place, who's a horrible, horrible person, already blaming Israel for the situation and so on. However, President Trump clearly, our government has deals worked out now about the oil revenues, stopping illegal oil transport and so on. He may just feel that having this guy in place, we have some leverage and that it's the appropriate move for right now. We have to consider that President Trump knows what's going on, and there are political considerations going on behind the scenes that we're really not privy to.